Yo guys, what's up? If you're new to the channel, my name is Dinul Perera and I'm a software engineering undergraduate in Java Institute, and I recently started making YouTube videos to share content regarding web programming and database management systems, and further on I am thinking of doing more stuff which is basically regarding the field of software engineering. That means it basically shares you content about robots, software applications, Java, other programming languages and stuff like that. And so in this video I am going to share, in this video series I am sharing content regarding some database management system questions, and I am going to answer those questions. And I have a separate video series which goes on with web programming. It discusses questions which is basically regarding web programming, and I have related some questions with the concepts of web programming, and I have answered those questions in the respective video. So in this video I am going to discuss question number 9 of the database management system question series. So here we have question number 9. First I'll explain you the question, then I'll jump on to the answer. So I'm going to answer this question using the HeidiSQL software, and I'll go through how I'm going to design the databases and the tables. That's the most important thing, and then comes the SQL queries. Okay, let's check out what we have. Okay, now in this question, I'm first going to read the question. To facilitate the business of Max Mobile, the owner of the mobile phone company uses a computer software which uses the following table to store the data in that computer software. Answer the questions asked in the table. So I have some questions here. Now let's see what is the first thing we have to do. Okay, I'm just going to mark the questions so it's easy for us to refer. Okay, so first we have this question to do. Okay, let's tick it once we do it. Now, the first thing you have to do is creating a database in the name of mshop to save data in the mobile phone shop. Okay, first I have to create a database. The usual and application. If you read the question, they are making a computer software. So for this computer software, we need a database. So I am asked to create the database. So this is my HeidiSQL application. Now I am going to right click on this main project and click on create new, and then click on database. So the name of my database is mshop. They have assigned us to create the table called mshop, and I'm going to click on OK. Okay. So and if you now since we have created the database, now we need tables. You don't automatically get tables, you must design them. So once we have the database, tables comes inside the database. So once I right click on mshop and click on create new, then go for tables, I can design a table inside the mshop. Now I just need to complete the settings for the table. So once the settings are completed, once I save all the settings, the table is created, but with only the columns, because I need data to put onto the rows. Okay, so first I am going to name the table. So our first task is done, that is creating the database. Then we have the next question. Next question is create a table called customer and product. So we have 1 and 2. We have 2 tables to create. So first I am going to create this customer table, then I am going to create this product table, but we have certain validations. Let's see how we are going to do it. Okay, I am going to share the screen like this, so it's easy for you to refer, and it's also easy for me to show it. Okay, I am going to close this side for a second, and my first table name is customer. Now I am going to add the first row. My first row is customer ID, and they have told us to use the data type varchar. Okay, and they have specified the character length to set it as 10. Okay, and I am going to I'm not going to allow a null value here, because if you put null here, that column values can be empty. So if I put no default, there can't be any default values, so it is compulsory to enter the value of this column. So my next column is, now we are designing the columns basically. So my next column is, here you have next we have first name, then varchar, but the data type is 45. Now in the first thing they have mentioned us to create the customer ID as primary. So I'm going to create it primary, because the primary key cannot be copied. Like the first, just suppose the first data has the customer ID 1, then that customer ID can't be repeated in that row, in that column. It cannot be repeated. So that's what happens from the theory of primary key. So my next column, I'm going to add last name with the same data type and character length, and then comes the gender with the character length of 10 with the data type varchar, and then the contact number with the same data type and length. So I'm going to save these settings. So I'll just have to click on save. So once it's rendered, just give me some time. So now, as you can see, inside the MShop database which I created, I have the customer table. Now once you click on the table, and you have this column which says data, once you click on it, you have these columns which I created: the customer ID, first name, last name, gender, and the contact number. So now our first table is created. Now the problem is creating the second table, which is product. Okay. Now as we are going to create the product table inside the same database which is MShop, I'm going to right click on the database again and click on create new table. So now I'm going to name it as product, because our second table is called product. Now I'm going to add the first column. Just drag this here, and my first column is named as row underscore ID. So this one also I must make it as primary key, because the product ID cannot be repeated in this column. I'll keep this as no default. Click on OK. Then my next column is brand ID. The brand ID. The brand ID. The brand name. Drag this here. My second column is brand name. Sorry, my mistake. Brand name. Then the data type is varchar. So the character length is 45. The character length of the product ID is 10. So you can have 10 characters as the product ID. So my next row is model number. Model underscore number. Model underscore number has a character length of 45 still. And my next column is price, which has the data type double. So you don't have any character length, because double means you can have decimals. Now if you have decimals, for example 5.0 is same as 5.00 is same as 5.00. So you can have infinite number of decimals, so you don't allow a character length for that, because it's actually infinity. So you don't write infinity as the character length. So you don't write a character length if you want to specify infinity. Okay. So I'm going to save these settings right here. You just have to click on save. Okay. Now once that's done, I have the second table. So our two tables are created. Now that means our second part is also completed. Now what we have to do is the third one. Add data graphically to the the tables we have created. So that's the hard part we have to do, because we have to enter all these data onto the tables. So I'll just first we'll enter data onto the customer table. I just have to share the screen again. And the customer table, I just have to click on it and go on to the data section. So in the data section is where you enter the data. So if you want to add the first row, you have to click on this button, which is the green button with the white plus mark. You just have to enter this data like this. I'll show you how I do the first data entry. Should start with capital. Then the contact number. Okay, now that was the first row. So in this way, I have to enter data like this onto the customer table. As now this is the first row, so I have to enter data onto these 4 rows in the same way. So let's see how that goes. So in the same way, I entered all the details for the customer table like this. You just have to click on. You just have to keep on clicking. You have to keep on adding rows and entering tables onto the respective cells. Cells means a box which intercepts a cell and a column and a row. So once one column and one row is intersected, you get a cell. So in the same way, I have to enter data onto the product table. So if you want to add data to the product table, you just have to click on product, then go to the data section. So you have the data section here, and now you have to enter data. So you just have to click on this plus mark and enter data. I'll just go through how I'm going to enter the first data. Row underscore 001. Then my brand name is Huawei. Then my model number is 55. Then the price is 2000, 25,000. Okay, now it says incorrect integer value 404. Row underscore 001. Okay, this should be what? Sorry. Yeah. Okay, so once that's done, you can go again to the product section, and you have the first row. So in the same way, you have to add data onto the other row. So I'll quickly skip that part, because it is the same way you have to enter data like this. Okay, so in the same way I entered data onto the first row, you have to do it the same way for the other column. So I have entered data onto 10 rows like this. So if you want to adjust the column length, you just have to drag like this if you want to increase the length of the model number column. So that's how it goes. Let's see what our next question is. Okay, so we have graphically added the data. So that's done for the third question. So our fourth, fifth and sixth question are basically SQL queries. So let's see how that goes. Okay. So our first question is, our first SQL query is find a mobile phone whose brand is Huawei and the price is less than 40. So we have certain values. So we are supposed to find a phone whose brand is Huawei, but the price should be less than $40. 40,000 rupees. Okay, let's see how we are going to do that. So I open up my HeidiSQL browser. Then what I do is I go to the query tab and read all the content there. Then I'm going to do a select. I'm going to do a search. So I have to use the select keyword. So selecting data from our database is mshop. It's called mshop. The table we are going to use, we have now, if you press on Ctrl+S, you get two suggestions, which one is the customer table, one is the product table. Now we are searching from the product table, so we have to select product. So select from mshop.product. There are a lot of brands here, but we want the Huawei brand. So where brand equal, you have to, now this mark right here, it is not a quote, it's called the grade ascent. So you put the column name inside the grade ascent and you put equal mark. Then you need the brand to be Huawei. So Huawei is mentioned within double quotes. So Huawei. Okay, Huawei. I have entered the brand Huawei. So let's see what happens if I run this query. If I click on search, okay, there's a small error here in the first line. I have to mention what are the columns that I'm going to select. So I'm going to need all of the columns. So I'm going to use the star mark. That's the star mark or the asterisk mark. You call the asterisk mark. So you mention before the term from the columns you need. Suppose you need only the pro ID. Suppose you need both pro ID and brand name. So you have to include both those columns here. So, and when you are mentioning the columns, you must mention them within the grave essence. So because I need all the columns, I just mentioned the star mark. So once I run this query, and I have to mention here I have mentioned the name brand underscore name, that is the column name. So once I run this query, it gives us both the products which has the brand name Huawei, but we need the product where the price is less than 40,000. So this is 45,000 and this is the product, but we can't select like that. So we have to use the query to do that. So select every column from mshop.product where the brand name is Huawei and the price is less than 40,000. Okay, now let's run this query. Okay, so once you run that query, you get only one answer. There's only one product which has the brand name Huawei and both the brand name Huawei and price which is below 40,000. The other product is 45,000, which is greater than 40,000. Okay, so that's the end of that question. So we'll move on to the last two questions. So that's the end of that question. Next we have look for customers whose gender is female. So that's a very easy SQL question. So just delete this. Select all columns. I need all columns. All from mshop, that is the name of the database, and I'm going to select data from customer table, mshop.customer, where the gender column is female. And if you want to end the query, you just have to put a semicolon. So once I click on this execute button, it gives us all the details of the people who has the gender female. So they haven't given any specification. So that is the answer for the fifth question. So the last question is find the details of the product whose brand is Vivo. So details means every detail. That means I need all columns. So the last query is select all from mshop dot product. I'm going to use the product table where brand is equal to, so I'm going to enter query here and the brand name is Vivo. Okay, so I'm going to click on execute. Okay, the brand, there's not a column for brand, so I'm going to enter brand name because the column name is brand name. So if I click on execute now, so I get all the products which the brand name is Vivo. As you can see, there are 3 products. There are 3 products with the brand name Vivo, and you get all of them once you execute this query. So that's the end of the last question. So that means that is the end of the question number 9. So I'll meet you guys in the next video then, the question number 10 of the same database management question series. So I'll meet you guys then. Bye guys.